Well, the cross is tapped home, and it's the skipper, George Johnson. It's absolutely wonderful from Scott Fraser. Scored in front of the crowd. Takes a shot.
The Addicks are unbeaten in 6 since our last league outing here at the Valley. Victories in the Bristol Street Motors Trophy and the FA Cup, as well as picking up 5 points on the road courtesy of visits to Wigan, Portsmouth and Carlisle. Tonight we return to home comforts and the focus is very much on chasing the playoff pack. Cheltenham are the visitors this evening who started very slowly following the departure of Alfie May this summer, but they have picked up form in recent weeks. Darryl Clark's side have won 3 of their last 5 league games, including Saturday's excellent 2-0 win against promotion-chasing Oxford United. With less than 45 minutes to go until kick-off, let's take a look at what we have coming up. We will hear from head coach Michael Appleton, who spoke to Charlton TV ahead of tonight's fixture. Alfie May spent 2 very productive seasons at Cheltenham. He spoke to us ahead of tonight's game. And we will hear from Charlton legend Andy Hunt, who is here at today's game. Well, welcome along wherever you're tuned in today. It is a pleasure to have your company. A quick reminder that if you haven't yet purchased your matchday streaming pass for £10, then you can do so. It's a midweek game, which means that if you're in the UK, you can hang around with Curbs, Brownie and I. Gents, it's a pleasure to have your company. Brownie, it's been a month since we've had a league game. I've missed you. What have you been up to? How's things been?
Yeah, it's been good. I had a wedding Saturday. Lost another good one. My nephew got married, so poor fella.
Well,
he has no idea what's coming his way.
No, fair enough. But you missed out on our trip to Carlisle. But Curbs, we enjoyed that game together. I think there's still a sort of lingering sense of that was a slightly missed opportunity to get some more points on the board.
Absolutely. Should have won the game. Haven't done that, so it puts a little bit of pressure on tonight for all sorts of reasons. Yeah, as you said earlier, Cheltenham coming here, having a good spell of it, but we've got to win tonight. If we've got any ambitions of getting near that top 6, we've got to win tonight.
And Brownie, whilst you were away, Curbs and I were getting sent lots of WhatsApp messages, and a quick reminder that if you want to get in touch with us in the studio throughout this evening, then you can. From all over the world, weren't we, Curbs? People on the beaches, sipping their cocktails, watching the game unfold. It's a little bit chillier in SE7 tonight, isn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We were just with Andy Hunt actually over the lounges and said to him it must be freezing to him coming from Belize, but and he informed us he's actually left Belize and he's now living in Amsterdam. I don't think it is. No, it's more to do with his wife getting a job in Holland. So, but yeah, no, it is cold tonight. Very cold.
We're hoping that we can fire our attacking Arsenal, Curbs, because that was the one thing that was missing on Saturday. We've been ever so reliant on our front three doing a lot. And off air, I was saying to Curbs, really fancy a centre-back to score today, really fancy a centre-back. I didn't want it to be Sam Lavelle, as it turned out. But quite interestingly, we haven't had a defender score so far this season. And we're looking at those goals to supercharge our playoff aspirations. Is that perhaps something, again, tonight that we'll be looking to add?
Listen, Brownie agree with me that, you give each section of the team a little bit of a goal, and I always thought that at least the back four can chip in with at least 10 or maybe up to 15 in a good season, and I don't think anyone's chipped in at the moment. Then you set your midfield, you hope you're going to get 10 to 15, and then you've got your front boys. And our front three, well, front four, depending on what we do with Alfie, is potent. We know they can make goals and score goals. Our big problem is obviously conceding, needing 2 or 3 to win a game. But, yeah, it'd be nice if another section of the team chipped in with some goals, because the front four ain't always going to do it every week.
Brownie, talking about goal scoring, Cheltenham Town, of course, went on that horrible run without a goal. The prospect of playing them a couple of months ago versus this evening, they'd be a very different side.
Yeah, I think obviously there's going to be a little bit more confidence in the ranks. I mean, they've lost a key player tonight in the striker, actually, who got sent off at the weekend. But yeah, I think the season was always going to change for them. It was never going to run that long. It was just a disastrous start. They've changed managers, which often comes with a start like that. And to be fair to Darryl, he's solidified the team, and I think he's gone back to basics a little bit. From the clips I saw, you know, it's about, you know, we all say it in here, about keeping clean sheets first. Let's get back to not conceding, and they've kept, I think, 2 clean sheets in the last 5, and they've had a couple of good results from it. So we've said this before in the studio. You can't understand enough how, you know, timing is key when you meet some teams, you know, and it can be worth 10 points a season just by meeting a team when they're out of form. And you're right, we should have met these guys 6 weeks ago. And I think back then we would have gone, look, Cheltenham looks like it's going to be a 3 points home win, and now we're not so sure. You know, I think we've got a run of fixtures coming up though. If you take the Carlisle one we've just had, and the run of fixtures we've got coming up to the end of December, Barnsley away is like the toughest one. And on paper, I think it's a run of fixtures we really need to start putting some points on the board to close that gap up. I'm not saying it's going to define the season, but it's certainly going to have an impact for sure.
Adding to Brownie's perspective, Curb, 6 unbeaten is great. It's a good response to that disappointing defeat against Bolton, who I think we can all agree are going to be a team at the top end of the table. But really and truly, 3 points tonight is a must after having that little stretch of games on the road to come back home.
And also as a manager, you look at the other side of it as well, because there's a couple of teams behind us. If we don't get the result tonight, they can jump above us. You know, so there's a lot riding on it. In actual fact, you know, we're stuck in mid-table. We need to put 3 or 4 results together, 3 or 4 wins, to push us up near that playoff place. But if we don't get the result tonight, we could drop a couple of places. So there's added pressure in that. And I also think, looking, no disrespect to Cheltenham, their fan base, midweek game, and our fans, you know, it's very, very quiet out there at the moment. So it may be down to the players to lift everybody. It's not going to be the crowd.
Well, we've got a big night under the lights to look ahead to. So let's find out who will be starting for the Addicks this evening against Cheltenham Town. I spoke to head coach Michael Appleton a little earlier on. Michael, unbeaten in 6 games. How do we build on that momentum to secure the victory today?
Well, I think first and foremost, I think if we put in a performance similar to what we did on Saturday, we won't be a million miles away from getting the victory that we want tonight. I thought, like I say, you know, we did everything that we could, other than probably have that killer instinct on Saturday. If that deserts us tonight, it's going to be a tough night, because obviously we've got a side that are, you know, full of confidence after the game at the weekend.
And after 3 away trips in a row, how nice is it to be back at home, to home comforts here at the Valley? It
definitely is, and obviously on the back of, you know, the first sort of 2.5 months or so being at the football club, the home games has been good to us on the whole. We've created a little bit of momentum. I know we had the blip against Bolton, but we did come up against a good side on that day, and we give them obviously the respect that they deserve for where they're at. But I think for us, you know, this has to be the platform. We have to sort of win games here. If we have, you know, any desire to want to be competing at the top end of the table, you've got to win your own games, and, you know, tonight's no different to that.
What kind of test are you expecting from the visitors tonight?
Well, it's going to be a tough one. They do get the ball forward early, there's no doubt about that. The goalkeeper plays a big part in that. He's almost like a keeper sweeper. Everything that sort of goes back into him, it goes straight back up to the strikers. Crossing side. If we don't do the basics right, the second balls and being aggressive, then we'll allow them to show what they're capable of and allow their style of play to sort of dominate ours, and we don't want that. We want to dominate the ball if we can. So yeah, it's going to be a tough task, but you know, I think the lads are more than capable of sort of getting the result.
On to team news. Any changes for this evening?
No, it's exactly the same 11, to be honest with you. You know, I spoke to them yesterday and just said you've earned the right and deserve the right to go again. I thought energy levels, etc., were very good on Saturday. I know that means they've got to produce it again today, and it's 3 days later. But you know, we've got players on the bench chomping at the bit just in case.
And after travelling many, many miles on Saturday, the supporters made so much noise at Carlisle, and I guess it's an ask to do exactly the same here in South East London. Absolutely,
yeah, and you know, there's something about, I say it every time, probably people get bored of it, there's something about midweek games under the lights. It feels different, you know, the atmosphere feels different, feels like there's more energy. And listen, if we get that tonight and we get how they've been in recent games here, they'll certainly give the players every opportunity to get the result.
I totally agree with you. Thanks and good luck.
Cheers,
Great to hear from head coach Michael Appleton there. And I do really agree with him about that point. And the night under the light does feel that little bit extra special. So it is the starting 11 that began the game at the weekend versus Carlisle. Brownie, did you expect the manager to stick with that 11 or perhaps make some changes? I think many of us suspected that maybe Louis Watson might be in with a shout. Give me your take.
Yeah, I think that's the one, isn't it, that everybody's looking at and saying, right, well, you know, the midfield three's your engine. They've got to work hard. And maybe that's the one that you could have foreseen, you know, might have been the change. But you know, I don't mind. You can sit here and say continuity in one breath, and then he needs to change him in another. And I think he's seen enough Saturday to think that performance was good enough to get the 3 points. He knows we're a better side at home, and he wants them to replicate that performance and take home the 3 points tonight. He's shown a lot of faith in that group, so you know the least they can do is repay that faith with a performance. But yeah, possession's 9/10 of the law, as they say. So once you're in it, it's yours to lose.
Miles Leeburn celebrating his 20th birthday today, Curbs. It would be nice to see him get on the score sheet. You sometimes forget how young he is, like forgetting that he's a teenager and he's already got over 50 appearances for the club.
I actually parked next to him in a car park, and as he got out, I give him a little bit, you know, as you do.
So no birthday greetings?
No, I didn't know. I said, I think you're a little bit late, and yeah, there might be a fine on. He went, no, I've got 15 minutes. I thought, well, if it was me, you'd be there half hour before. Anyway, he was all right. So no, I'm with you, really. I think that the only change would have been perhaps Watson come in, but you know, I think that if it's not working, Alfie May goes in as the number 10, or and Campbell comes on, etc. So I think the bench will be used tonight if it ain't working, obviously. And but I'm looking at that front four again, and I think McGrandles and Dobson. I think Michael's hoping he's given them a defensive base. It's a back six, if you like, because we know what George does. McGrandles puts his shift in defensively. So yeah, I think it's a strong looking 11.
Brownie, what I really like about this setup is the point that Curbs alludes to there, that there are potential rotations. There is the ability to make some tactical switches with the personnel that are in the starting 11, which means that the bench is there to supplement if needs be. But there are options open to Michael Appleton, who, as we know in previous matches, particularly here at home, isn't afraid to make changes if he needs to.
No, absolutely. I think the other one, you know, you could have said Tyrese Campbell on the right, couldn't you? And Alfie up front on his own, but you know, you could switch Alfie and Miles over, which we've seen in the past. So yeah, there are options. I mean, the clips I saw from Saturday, obviously I wasn't here. The midfield three actually linked up quite well, particularly for the goal. You know, they got up behind a long ball. You know, Miles worked off the shoulder. They got up behind a long ball. They were competitive against the two central midfielders against them. They won it back. They linked up, which, you know, and the linking up, you know, seems quite simple. But what it does is it allows you to turn from that defensive unit into a more attacking threat because you've kept the ball for 2 or 3 passes. There was a brilliant overlap from tonight. And you know, if you want to see somebody attacking a ball in the box to score, Blackett-Taylor's movement, he wasn't even in the shot when Tanai crosses, and he comes in and finishes. So you can kind of understand, you know, if Michael's working on stuff at the training ground and he kind of sees it working in the 90 minutes, you have to go with the manager. He sees a lot more than we see, and he sees a lot more than the supporters see in terms of what he's working on and what they're delivering. So you have to trust him. He's gone with the same 11. They need to put on a performance for him.
The only thing is what I've been saying is Alfie May. You know, you can't lose him in terms of, okay, he's happy to go out there on the right. If he nicks a goal, makes a goal. But if that dries up, then, you know, he will say to Michael, I've got to go back up top. And that puts pressure on Miles. I mean, Miles needs a goal and a performance for me. So, yeah, I think there's pressure from the bench.
And that's good pressure to
have, absolutely,
right?
yeah, good.
Well, there are some big fixtures taking place in League One this evening, including Blackpool, who are coming off of back-to-back 4-0 wins. That would be nice, wouldn't it? And they're looking for more of the same against Northampton Town. Burton Albion host a Portsmouth team who saw their incredible unbeaten run come to an end on Saturday at the hands of the aforementioned Blackpool. The big game in the division, though, sees Oxford United, who lost to Cheltenham on Saturday, host Bolton Wanderers, who will be buzzing going into that game after beating Exeter City 7-0 at the weekend. Stevenage host Peterborough United as 4th take on 5th in the league. Reading beat Wickham at the weekend, and they will be looking to continue forward with that positive momentum at home to Carlisle. Brownie, Bolton travelling to Oxford. Who are you picking to come out on top of that one?
Bolton. I'll always go with Bolton. They're always the dark horses for me. And this year, I think they've strengthened again. I think they're going to be very, very close. Sitting top at the moment. Oxford just changed managers, and it wasn't a very nice change. I don't think they were expecting it, and it's derailed them a little bit. So it's important. You know, we talk about important performances. That's one for them, because if they get turned over again tonight and they drop another couple of places, you know, the external pressure and the internal pressure will start to tell on them. So that's a big game for them. Yeah.
I think we've not even got to Christmas and you're talking about Reading and Carlisle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a proper game
Yeah.
in terms of, you know, Reading under all its sorts of financial pressures, etc. And Carlisle, you know, that's a right dogfight.
Stevenage people, that could get
I was going to
tasty.
say, who do you think is going to edge that one? I agree with you,
Dan
Brown.
Ferguson.
Yeah. that could get nice and tasty on the sideline. That one.
Yeah, absolutely. Perhaps even more so than
Yeah.
on the pitch. But Brownie, we are 7 points off the playoff
Yeah.
places, but we still have to very much be of the mindset that we're looking up.
Yeah, I think people have forgotten about the start we had as well. I think people have overlooked the start we had, which was 1 win and 4 losses. Right, and after 5 games of this campaign, you need to be on around 9, 10, 11 points, and we were on 3. You know, so you know, let's not forget that. So there's been a half decent job scrambling ourselves back up the table to start looking up, and I do think it's one of those ones where we can still, you know, certainly for now, look at catching the guys at the bottom, especially with what I said earlier with the run of fixtures we have coming up. I'd have liked 3 points against Carlisle. I think you were saying off air, Curbs, we pretty much deserved it. So that's very much 2 points drop, which does actually add a little bit more pressure to this one tonight. You know, you don't want to play 22nd and 23rd and come out with 2 points or less. You know, you really wanted 6. If you come out with 4, that's okay. Any less than that's not good enough.
Right, well, it is International Supporters Day here at the Valley, and earlier on I had the privilege of speaking to a couple of supporters who've travelled quite some distance to be here tonight. So it's International Supporters Day. First things first, what are your names and where have you come from for today's match?
I'm Mark and I'm from Germany, from the German Addicks, and I'm the chairman from the International as well.
And my name is Lars. I come from Stockholm and I'm
The Swedish Addicks.
representing Swedish Addicks, yes.
Well, it's great to have you both here, but can you explain how you first became Charlton Athletic supporters?
For me, it's a very long story. My first game was a Doncaster game 2014. It was 0-3 and the pitch was overflowed. I came too late for the game with my sons, and it was finished at halftime. And my second game was in January, and it was postponed 1 hour before the game starts, and that's crazy. And so I take a look to the history of the club and from the Charlton website. I say, wow, what's that? That's perfect. That's my club, my new club. And now I'm a fan with a Valley Gold with a lot of games in the season, and we come over sometimes 15 times, and I come back in December for the Christmas days to watch Charlton 4 times.
Amazing. So thank God you gave us that third chance, hey, third time lucky for the matches. And how about yourself?
Yes, I supported Charlton in 1978, so it's my 45th anniversary this year. Unfortunately, it took me 25 years before I could watch the first game live. That was versus Everton, and Wayne Rooney scored for Everton, and Radostin Kishishev scored one of every 2 goals for Charlton.
And you're making a bit of a week of it, I understand, while you're here. Tell me more about that.
Oh, I don't understand.
So whilst you're here, are you watching a lot of football elsewhere? You're making quite a lot of your time here in England.
What are you doing in another time in England, or what do you mean?
Yeah. Did you watch any other games when you were here?
No, only Charlton, only Charlton.
Fantastic answer to a really poor question from me. No, not a problem. But while you're here this evening, what players are you most looking forward to watching?
Well, I have to answer the other question first, because this is our 3rd Charlton game in this trip. We were away to Carlisle. Yesterday we watched the under-21 in Dartford, and now we're here today. So now I'm looking forward to see May score another good goals, for sure, and bring us another 3 points.
Fingers firmly crossed. How about you? Who are you looking forward to watching tonight?
I'm a supporter. I think it's today for my scored. It will be great for us. And for me, it's not important who scored, but we take a win tonight.
We will certainly take a win. So on that note, what are your score predictions for this evening's game against Cheltenham?
2-0.
We have every time we come over, we go to the Betty, and it's a 3-1 for Charlton.
There we go. It's a victory tonight to look forward to. Thank you both so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was great to hear from our international supporters there. And I've got a couple of gifts for you guys to use. We can put our half-time cup of coffee and tea on that. So all the way from Sweden.
German Addicks.
From German. Why don't you show the camera and just, you know, there we go. We really appreciate any gifts to the studio. Look at that, Curbs. And the Swedish Addicks with brownie as well. And do you know what? It's a really great opportunity to say thank you, because we know that lots of you watch the Addicks from very far afield, as we found on Saturday, didn't we?
Addicks and
Antigua,
Cayman Islands.
in all the warm climates.
Well,
so
was they? We weren't proof.
we weren't proof this time. If you're somewhere warm.
When Hunty was talking to us, we could see it.
Well, the parrot give it away.
And
it flew
Sash.
across the background.
And Sash.
Sash is another nice one.
So if you've got a nice backdrop that is warmer than that in southeast London today, please do WhatsApp us and let us know. It'd be great to hear from you. But
About Hazy in Florida.
Oh, yeah, John's in Florida.
well, you know quite a lot of supporters from abroad that watch Charlton TV, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, they don't always tune in, but I mean, John tuned in Saturday, didn't he?
Yeah.
You know, and he'll be soaking up the sun at the moment, repairing his house, which blew away.
Curbs, considering the number of holidays that you have, do you ever get spotted on your travels?
I have watched us, actually, from Dominican Republic.
There we go. And you're going away again in December, right? So
Yeah,
whilst
I'm
we're
not
here
going to watch
freezing...
it. No, I'm not
He's
going to watch it.
Cancun.
No.
He's got the whole family with
We're all
him.
going.
He's snowed
Grandkids,
under.
everyone, so I'll probably be babysitting. But I might be able to sneak away. Tom gives me a shout, and I might be able to do it.
Okay, we'll try and make that happen.
Oh,
and we can connect with Curbs live from Cancun.
Absolutely. I watched the cup game against Cray in an RV with a laptop on the dash. It was brilliant.
Brilliant.
Yeah, just travelling along with Mike, and it was on there. Yeah, it was good. And it was 20 odd plus degrees. It was lovely.
Oh, lovely. You can always stay up to speed with all things Charlton. And from international guests now to international duty. And it will be a busy international break for some key members of the Charlton women's squad. Kayleigh Green, who is on screen, has been called up for Wales, while Rebecca McKenna has been named in the Northern Ireland squad. Melissa Johnson, who has scored some crucial goals this season after winning the league's Golden Boot last season, has been called up for Jamaica after making her international debut last month. They host Panama before travelling to Guatemala. While co-captain Kira Skills and Mia Ross have been named in the England under-23 squad, Freya Godfrey has been called up for the under-19s. And Brownie, it's just so good to see so many of our players from both the men's and women's sections being called up to represent their country.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, something I never managed to do. You did, didn't you? You got called up to the...
Not a lot. I finished competition.
Yeah, well, yeah, it made no difference what the competition was for me.
Wilkins and Robson.
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah, that's tough. But yeah, of course it is. I think any time you have any players representing a country, it's an opportunity to get that out there. I think with the women's team doing so well in the league as well, you know, and we see more and more, you know, getting pushed into the international stage, that can only be good, you know, positive press for us as a football club. So yeah, I think it shows you your team must be doing well, you know, that you've got people representing the country. So.
And Curbs, when you were a manager, you had plenty of players being called up for international duty. Did you notice perhaps the sense of confidence it gave them to have that little bit of time to be involved in that kind of setup?
No, well, the first thing when the fixtures come out, me, Mervyn and Snods used to organise who was going to go away. Because it's always a break. So I think Snods took the first international break, which is October. Yeah. Because it would be a little bit cold wherever he was going, so whatever. And then we no, I'm only mucking about. We used to organise it, but no, I think you know, international break is fine. It gives the rest of the squad a little bit chance to perhaps warm down, if you like. But the players that are playing, you know, they're actually playing, aren't they, and training full on. So it's difficult when they come back. Do they get back Friday night for some games, which players have done? Yeah. You know, they've missed their flight and done this and done that. So it's a difficult time for managers, the international break, and they should have a week away.
Yeah. You should pray they just come back fit, didn't you? That's the biggest thing for you.
Well, all I used to say to them was, please let me know as soon as you come off the pitch if you're all right for Saturday, because I'm already thinking about the weekend. and I don't want someone coming back and going, you know, I'm injured, and I find out on the Thursday night or Friday morning. So straight after a game, contact me or Merv and let me know if you're okay or not.
Well, here's a question for you both. Is there a Charlton player that springs to mind that you feel perhaps deserved more international recognition, that perhaps should have had a call-up but it never came?
Oh, right. Well, our squads.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
Rufus.
There's a lot. Yeah, Richard deserved.
Rufus,
Richard
I would have
deserved.
thought.
He deserved a go for sure.
Quite a few.
Yeah, I always felt like, you know, I know Powley got into the setup, but I thought he deserved more than he got. But there was quite a few, Charlotte, across the years that you thought, crikey, you know, the international team must be really strong, because yeah, we had some good performers over the late 90s, early 2000s, mid 2000s, and yeah, I certainly when you brought in a lot of Scandinavians, they always went off, and you know, I thought we had equally as strong players, you know, domestically.
Klaus was happy to go off, wasn't he?
Yeah, Klaus was happy to go off. Klaus, what a fella. But yeah, it's just, I just think.
But Klaus, where are you going again? Well, I'm going there, and then I'm going there, and then I'm going to go there.
Yeah. He knew how to use the international break well.
Yeah.
I do think there was a stigma though back then. I really do. You know, it was Charlton, and I think Charlton players didn't get picked as much as they should have done.
Maybe,
and I thought there was favouritism to the bigger clubs at the time, and that has changed. That has absolutely changed now, and I think Gareth Southgate has done a very good job in as much as if you're in form, it doesn't matter where you're playing, and sadly I don't think that was the case back in the early 2000s. I think it did matter where you played. It got you picked over than somebody in really good form that wasn't a fancied club maybe.
Interesting stuff. Well, we have plenty of guests on this evening's show, so let's check in with club legend Andy Hunt, who spoke to Charlton TV earlier on. Andy, welcome back to the Valley. How does it feel to be here this evening?
Fantastic. Yeah, it's really nice. I came in yesterday and came down from Norfolk with my brother, and yeah, looking forward to a really great game tonight.
Tell us a little bit about your favourite memories from the Valley.
There's quite a few. We had a good season, so there's some good, there's some bad, but the favourite memories obviously was we just had a terrific season in the Championship. Going into the Premier League the season before was a real eye opener for the players and I think the coaches and everybody. And we struggled a little bit, but yeah, once we went down into the Championship, we had a fantastic year. I managed to bang a few in, and we went straight back up. And yeah, so cracking season.
Last time we spoke to you on Charlton TV, you had a beautiful beach in the backdrop. What brings you to the UK?
It wasn't a beach; it's a jungle.
My mistake. Yeah. It looked pretty epic.
Yeah, no, it's a nice place. But we were actually in Amsterdam. My wife is from the Netherlands, and she, yeah, boys are getting older. Life moves on, changes, and so you know, she's got a job now back in her home country, and one of my youngest is at university there now. So yeah, so why not? And then it's a short hop from Holland to London, so here I am.
We've got Steve Brown and Alan Curbishley in the Charlton TV studio. Are you hoping to have the opportunity to perhaps catch up with them this evening?
I would love to. It would be great to see as many people from that time as possible. So if I get the chance, then yeah, I'll take it.
How much did you enjoy playing under Curbs?
Loved it, absolutely loved it. My favourite coach, you know, just seeing Keith Peacock as well, you know, brilliant guy. And so no, I loved, I was just talking to a few of the guys there about the problems that Charlton have had over the last few years, which we don't need to go into, but my attraction to Charlton at the time was because of Curbs and Keith and everything that was going on here, the stability that the club had created and the progress, and so that was, for me, that was the big attraction, and I love playing under them. Yeah.
You're so popular with Charlton Athletic supporters. How nice would it be to feel the atmosphere of the Valley and perhaps bump into a few as well?
Yes, I'm going to go out there tonight, and well, I don't know how many will still keep remembering me, because it's like some of the kids that were little, you know, they probably don't even know me now. Like the players that go out there, they weren't even born when I was here. Some of them, but no, it's going to be good to go out and chat with the fans and mingle a bit. Yeah.
Well, Andy, thank you so much for your time, and we hope you have a wonderful evening today.
Thank you. I appreciate the interview.
So lovely to hear from Andy there. Andy said lots of nice things about you, Curbs, so I'm handing you the opportunity to say some nice things about him.
It was devastating when he had to pack up. You know, he had such a fantastic season, and he come in for pre-season. He was struggling in pre-season. Not so much struggling when we was doing the training, but then he'd go home and sleep for most of the day and the night and come back. And during the pre-season, as the players were getting fitter, he was actually going the other way. And yeah, it was real. Yeah, I think we lost a great player, and he'd done so well for us. And you're expecting so much. He was young, and you know, you're thinking, who can I put with him? Who can I put with him? You know, and then the illness came, and he had to pack up.
He was prolific for us during his spell.
Have we got any goals?
Unfortunately, we don't. But
because he scored some crackers.
He did score, and he scored a lot of goals as well. What was he like to defend against in training?
Well, I'd like to say it wasn't an issue, but it probably was. I mean, they were a formidable partnership, and I'm going to go with Curbs in as much as it was a big blow to the squad. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again: of the two strikers out, Clive will get all the recognition because he came in from Grimsby when we were probably desperately needed a goal scorer, and he provided us with that. But when Andy came in, Andy was the better striker for me personally as a centre half
all round.
team. Yeah, all round in terms of would work the channels, could hold the ball up, brilliant in the air. And if you show a goal montage, there's left, there's right, there's aerial. There isn't a goal he didn't score, but he also provided that work ethic off the ball it's so needed. Someone stretching opposition's defence for you, which then allows your ball players in midfield to have a bit more space is pivotal. And to boot, he's a top fella. A really nice guy, on and off the pitch.
Defensive work as well, like set plays. Marking perhaps their best header, if you like, and and he would be one of them sort of players that trains like he plays. And when he became available, I remember driving up to the Midlands and to meet him. But I wasn't bothered about the football side of it. I knew what I was getting. I was asking people about him, and all the right things were being said. I mean, that was a major thing that I'd already worked out the football side of it, But was he a good lad? And invariably, I got it mainly right. I got a few wrong. We won't mention them. But he as soon as he came in, I think he responded because he appreciated the club. And everything else, didn't he? He came into, as he said, there a bit of stability, but he came into something and he was desperate to do well.
It sounds like that wonderful collaboration where right time, right place, right club, right person. 35 goals in 86 games during his spell. Yeah. How would you sort of rank him in terms of the strikers that you coached and got to work with?
Well, he's up there with Clive, isn't he? I think when people talk about Charlton and they go through our history, if you like, he's up there with Clive because Clive changed the way we played when he came in. He wasn't going to go in the channels, he tried every now and then. But if we got it into his feet, that was a different proposition. If it went into his feet, then everybody knew that it was going to be retained, and you could make them runs off him. And if you presented him with a chance, that's the difference between him and Hunty probably. No disrespect to Andy, but if you presented Clive with a chance, you think, oh, he's going to take that. He's going to take that. Yeah. He's going to take that. But it was a formidable partnership. Yeah, and both of them, sadly.
Yeah, roughly the same time, right?
Yeah, lost
That's
both
what
of them.
I remember in my brain. That
lost both of them.
Clive went with a hip or something, and then Andy was soon after. But when we talk about defences being the cornerstone of a season, you get that right, and then you don't need so many goals. Well, what those two did, they allowed us to concede one or two, and you still thought you were going to win the game. And that doesn't happen often across a person's career. You don't often get a strike force or a team that doesn't fear going 2-0 down. And honestly, that season, we didn't fear going 1-0 down, 2-0. It didn't matter. We always thought if we got them to the service, they would get us into the game, and they often did.
Well, from one prolific goal scorer to another, I cannot wait to show you guys these goals. 18-year-old Patrick Casey starred for Charlton's under-23s yesterday afternoon, scoring all 5 of the Addicks goals as they played out an enthralling 5-all thriller against Cardiff City. Brownie, 5 goals in a game, another young goal scorer coming through our academy.
Yeah, I mean, they're off the conveyor belt at the moment, aren't they, in terms of what we're producing through the youth system up the top end of the pitch. But, yeah, I mean, that's almost my career tally in one game. So,
Curbs, the thing about these 5 goals as well is they are all such well-taken strikes.
2-footed as well. Left foot, right foot, half volleys.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hell of an achievement. And it's not just this game, is it? the goals have been steady. So
well, he's scored 22 goals in the academy this season, and considering we've got 2 cup games
Hold
coming
on,
up,
a header as well.
and a header. Do you think he's got a shout perhaps of being involved in the manager's squad?
Well, listen,
those cup games?
I don't want to dampen the achievement here, but I've seen some pretty good strikers come through our youth system and not make it. So I never like to get ahead. Of course he could feature, of course, but there is a huge step. I mean, Ailes's boy, Lee Ailes, was an unbelievable striker in our youth system. He broke records, didn't quite get over the line to make it through. Charlie McDonald, unbelievable striker in our youth system, got into the first team, went the other way. It's an incredibly difficult thing to do. I wish everybody that has an opportunity to get in the first team to have a long career and break through, but it is a big step. It's a huge step. All he can do is put the ball in the back of the net for the youth team and the 21s. Hopefully he gets an opportunity, but once you do, you've got to burst that door open and step through it, by scoring a few in the first.
Well, I know from your coaching career, really developing players around that young age, it is a huge step to make from that under-18s level through to the 23s and into the senior team. But one thing that's sort of really impressed me and is a good sign in terms of our academies, look at Mason Burstow, Miles Lieber and Daniel Canoe, creating goal scorers is hard, and we seem to be doing well on that front, Curbs.
Yeah. No, fantastic. And I think at the moment, they're getting the chance as well because we've got so many young players out there. But what Brown is trying to get is that once they do get in the side, it's winning football. No disrespect, but under 21s or under 19s, whatever. It's not necessarily winning football. But when you break into the first team, it's winning football. And if you miss a chance, and it's a vital chance, then it goes against you a bit. Whereas you can miss some chances for the under 23s, and it ain't that faithful. But yeah. It's nice to see these youngsters coming through, but at some stage, Michael, as the manager, we've seen so many of them being given an opportunity, but at some stage, I think Michael will have to say, nothing. I've got to put a team out there that's going to get us promotion.
Yeah. Interesting.
Not necessarily bringing players through, if you know what I mean. And that's the fine balance, I think.
Yeah, it is a fine balance, and it's interesting to note that Mika Mabek, who came off of the bench against Craig Valley to score, 17 years old, he is in the first team squad tonight for the first time, which is fantastic. And also worth reminding you that if you do subscribe to Charlton TV, then as part of that, you're able to watch all the Charlton under 23s games, so you can keep an eye on the progress of some of our young stars coming through the ranks. Well, we've spoken to Andy Hunt. We've seen a flurry of fine finishes from Patrick Casey. It seems that goals and goal scorers are very much a theme of this evening's show, and it's not going to stop there because this man is preparing to face his former side. It is, of course, our star striker of the moment, Alfie May, who I spoke to earlier on. Alfie, thanks for joining us. Your former club, Cheltenham, are the opponents today. What's it going to feel like playing against them?
I just seen the kit man there and give him a big cuddle. It's going to be different, but very excited.
I know you've spoken about it before, but how much did you enjoy your time there?
Yeah, loved it. They give me the platform to sort of perform as the best I can, and they give me a lot of trust, so they know they got a special place in my heart. And yeah, it'd be a weird one playing against because all the boys are still there. So yeah, no, I can't wait.
Taking the sentiment away from this evening, it's a big game for Charlton tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, massive. I think we was really good Saturday. We probably should have walked out there with 3 points, but tonight, probably if we get the 3 points tonight, you look at Saturday and go, it's actually a really good draw. You take the point, and yeah, next 2 games in the league are massive. So we need to, we want to kick on. We want to keep this run going and stay unbeaten. We want to try and climb the table.
You know tonight's visitors better than any. What kind of test are you expecting from them?
Yeah, so we done the clips on them yesterday, and we've seen they're quite direct. They battle up front, and they've got willing runners. And sort of one thing when I was there, what Cheltenham do have is togetherness as a team. So we know that they're gonna go for 90 minutes. They won't give up, and we've got to match them. And it's important that we do that. I think I see a record online this morning saying that Charlton haven't beat Cheltenham yet. So hopefully it's tonight, and I get a couple. So that's the ideal world. But no, we've got to match them because we know they're going to come here. They're on a good run of form, and it's important that we sort of start well and really kick on.
You alluded to it earlier. We're 6 unbeaten now, but just how important will 3 points be to chase that playoff pack?
Yeah, definitely. We don't want to you see the teams in and around it keep winning, and that one, if you lose one, you slip away, and you don't want to start slipping away sort of coming up to Christmas. So it's important that we, like I say, we stick together, we take game by game, but 3 points is up for grabs, and we need to make sure it's ours.
You've been playing in the number 10 role, on the left, on the right. I just wanted to ask you, what position do you enjoy most?
Any that the gaffer gives me.
That's the good answer.
Yeah, hopefully he watches this. I really enjoy. I really enjoy playing in the 10. It's just playing off the striker, but playing out wide is sort of no different. I can still make my runs, and the formation just sort of gives me that freedom where I can sort of do what I want and sort of try and come into little spaces and running behind. So as long as we keep doing what we're doing, it should work.
And it's well documented that you were just behind Erling Haaland in league goals for 2023. He scored at the weekend. You're now 2 behind him, but you can catch him up easy, right?
Yeah, no, I'm a Liverpool fan as well. They didn't do me good, did they? But no, listen, it's that. I think I've had some messages from Man City fans and things like that saying, sort of, who do I think I am? But I didn't. For what I said was, he's doing it at the elite level, and for me, someone that's 7 years, 8 years older than him, I'm looking up to him as an elite striker. Last year, I've done a lot of clips on him. Harry just stands in the box and gets tap-ins. It's perfect example for a great striker. So I tried to sort of work with that last year and sort of say to myself, try not to run outside the goal. So I was learning from a 22, 23-year-old, and I think they've taken the context a little bit different to the way that I've said it. But yeah, no, I want to beat him, and I want to be top goal scorer in the league, and over the year I want to be the top goal scorer overall in all leagues.
Well, as a Liverpool fan, being sandwiched between Erling Haaland and Mo Salah is fantastic, and confidence really is just the most valuable thing that you can have as a centre forward, and it's a reflection of a lot of hard work throughout this calendar year. Yeah,
confidence is massive. I remember when I didn't have confidence, you start beating yourself up. Why am I not finishing this? And then obviously social media is so big. You look online and see people tweeting about, how's he not scored that and this? And yeah, I think belief and confidence is massive, and that's what I sort of took into when I signed for Cheltenham. There's 2 things that I said to myself that I would definitely take into that team.
Well, we certainly believe in you. Good luck tonight.
Thank you very much.
I really enjoyed that conversation with Alfie May. A big 90 minutes against his former club ahead of him. And just a reminder, for those at home watching on YouTube and Twitter, you can get your live streaming pass for today's game for just £10 to be able to watch Charlton TV's multi-camera production of today's game. Well, look, let's focus on tonight and take a look at the starting 11 for both teams. If you are just joining us, there are no changes